Hey, what's up? So today we're going to be starting off a project. I have a couple of video game controllers here. One is the Wii U Pro controller, and the other one is the old Wii Classic controller. I've had this Classic controller for a long time. I've never really used it too much. It's kind of a weird controller. And this one I just got the other day. The Wii U Pro controller in white is actually super hard to find. And I wanted it in white for a special reason, and that's because my Classic controller is white. So if you notice the face buttons here, A, B, X, and Y, they're not quite the same as those on the Wii U Pro controller. The Wii U Pro controller, they're all opaque, and all the lettering is capitalized, whereas over here, lowercase and A and B are transparent. So I went out of my way to find another white Wii U Pro controller that I could operate on. The plan is I'm going to take the buttons out of this one and replace them in this one just to make it look kind of different, and then in addition to that do a bit of a paint job too. So the back of these Pro controllers is a matte and the front is a gloss. So my plan is to leave the back the same and then give the front the paint job and stick the new buttons in there too. New, old buttons, whatever. You get the idea. So I've never actually painted a controller before. This will be the first time I've done it. It should be a pretty fun project, and I'm excited to see how it goes. So unfortunately, fortunately, I guess to start things off, I was able to get both the controllers apart successfully. Here are the buttons for the Wii U Pro. Now as far as the unfortunate part, it turns out that the Wii Classic controller buttons don't quite match up. So you can see there are these little prongs on the circumference of the buttons that just kind of helps them stay in place. The prong locations are different, and the heights of the two different controllers' buttons are also different. So even if I were to take apart and sort of reattach the prongs, the buttons still wouldn't be quite the right height. They wouldn't be tall enough to really press. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to scrap that part of the project. It's kind of a shame, but you know, you win some, you lose some. It was kind of an interesting process taking it apart, and I have some other plans for the Classic controller too, but that'll be a different video. That's a different project. For the time being, however, here's the back of the Pro controller. I'm not gonna paint this, at least that's not the plan. I'm gonna leave it the matte white, and it, I think, will do just fine with the intentions that I have. So the front part, the glossy part, is what I'm going to paint, and as you can see I've laid some tape on here. The plan is, so on all of these controllers there's a protective layer, and this layer has to be scuffed off the top in order to get a new coat of paint on there. So the parts that are covered with paint are going to remain white, and the exposed white part is the bit that I'm going to scuff, and the scuffed part will be then painted. The plan is, since the face buttons will still be white, the joysticks, the little D-pad, all of those buttons, since those are going to be white, I'll leave the backing white as well, and hopefully that'll make the controller flow a little bit better. Now another thing for me, I've looked at a couple of other videos about painting the Wii U, and this bit here, this text, is all just, it's a decal. It was, you know, it's type, it's flat, it's not engraved in any way. Whereas, for example, on the GameCube controller, you know, GameCube's on there, but start and pause are actually carved into the plastic. So on the Wii U, since it's all flat, painting over it would cover it up basically. And to satisfy my OCD, I want to leave the Wii U text there. The controllers that have been custom painted that cover that bit up just don't look quite right to me. And by virtue of the design, the other text, you know, start, pause, home, all of that will be uncovered as well. As you can tell, there's a bit, the power, that will be painted over, but honestly I'm not concerned about that. And I think what I have in my head is a pretty cool design, and we'll see if it ends up being that neat in real life. Alright, here's the finished thing, painted and put back together. An unforeseen side effect is it looks like a candy cane or peppermint or something, but hey, you know, whatever, I'm down with it. When I first finished it, I was not too thrilled, but I got it together and looked at it, and you know, I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out. I think it's pretty slick. There is a little bit, you can kind of see it right there. Because of the slope of that little piece of the controller, the tape wasn't fully flush, and a little bit of the red spray paint got under there. But as I play with the controller, I'm sure that'll rub off. Like I said, I didn't sand the white part, and so any paint that's on that white bit will come off pretty easily. As you can see, the white buttons, the white joysticks look really good, I think, with the red and also the white still being visible, I suppose, for lack of a better word, and kind of flows with the backing as well. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, honestly. I watched a couple of tutorial videos before I started this whole thing, and they really steered me in the right direction. The Wii U is there, the text for the buttons is there. I think it flows really well. Here's kind of what the blue light looks like. Well, the console isn't on, but it looks pretty cool. And then the battery light, of course. So this controller, here's the original to just kind of give you a comparison look. I think it really spruces it up. If I was more confident, if I was gonna sink some more money into this, I would have made a decal for the Wii U button and maybe just painted the whole thing red, then had the Wii U in white maybe to go with the white face buttons. I don't know. I might do another project like this in the future. For the time being though, I'm super pleased. Even though the buttons didn't end up working out for me, I still think this is really neat and turned out really great. And that's it. Thanks for watching.